Hi guys!
Hello everyone, what is up? And welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Brianna.
And I am Corey.
And we are doing our Walt Disney World Q&A video for all of you today because we just got back about a month ago from our Walt Disney World trip. Also, we are refilming this because we filmed yesterday. However, when I went to start editing, I realized that I, in fact, had makeup in my teeth. So we needed to refilm today.
You know,
but I'm having a better hair day and the makeup is better and like the sweater's better.
You know what's funny?
It was good.
The person you always have to make sure doesn't have a problem never has a problem. You don't even need to check on me.
Yeah, you're just always good.
And also mind this crack here.
Oh, we could have cracked together.
Oh, I didn't even know you had one.
Oh yeah, alright, well, I guess I might do mine too. 2 crispers.
Also, I have a different drink choice than yesterday. I did a regular Diet Coke. Today we have Orange Poppy.
I did a caffeine-free Diet Coke yesterday, and I'm doing a caffeine-free Diet Coke today. But with that being said, what is this video going to entail? Every time that we come back from a Walt Disney World trip, you're always a copy of me. Every time that we come back from a Walt Disney World trip, we always ask over on my Instagram if you have any trip-specific questions for us that we can help answer from our larger Disney trips that we do. So we did get over, I think, like 100 or 120 questions. Can't answer all of them in a video. It's just going to be way too long. So instead, we took out all questions that were not trip-specific. For example, a question that's, what was your favorite thing you ate on this trip versus your top 3 favorite restaurants in Epcot?
Yeah.
We separated them. We're going to do an entire podcast episode on the latter, like just random answering your Disney questions. But today, all the questions are going to be specific to the last trip that we just went on. So I have them broken out into different categories, and I have my little iPad on my flippy here. I love this thing. And we have them broken out into Polynesian Resort questions, trip-specific questions, food questions, renting DVC and DVC in general, Genie Plus questions, and then miscellaneous questions. So, without further ado, I recommend you get a snack, get a drink, raise your glass, and cheers to the Walt Disney World Q&A. Let's get into it. So without further ado, let's get into the questions. We are starting out first with our Polynesian Resort specific questions. And the first question was just overall Polynesian experience. I thought it was incredible. I thought that the resort was so beautiful, the vibes were amazing, and just there was something about the resort that made it feel very much like you were on a tropical island vacation. And I just thought that the hotel was great. I loved the location and its proximity to things. I just absolutely loved staying at the Polynesian.
Dare I say it's phantasmic?
Please don't do that.
I did that. Here we are. Oh, it was so good. The peacefulness and the seclusion that you felt when you were there was honestly astounding.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, I thought it was a 10 out of 10 experience. Obviously, we're going to get into it a little bit more, but as a short answer, spectacular.
One of the next questions was the pros and the cons for staying at the Polynesian.
Yeah.
I would say the pros for staying at the Polynesian were definitely the transportation.
Transportation was a home run.
You said the same thing. I think that being able to have multiple forms of transportation is so wonderful.
Absolutely.
You have the monorail, which is at your hotel or at the TTC. You also have the boat, which is specific to the hotel. I guess in theory you do have the big ferry boat
as well.
That's with the monorail as well at the TTC.
Yeah.
And then you also have bus transportation to your Animal Kingdom and your Hollywood Studios. I would say that was one of the first biggest pros of the resort. I have 2 more myself.
Without a doubt. Oh, what are your other 2?
My other 2 pros of the resort are the food minus, which is a con, Ohana. However, I think the food choice is great. I think Captain Cook's is great, Kona Cafe is great, the Quick Kona Cafe is great, and I felt like Trader Sam's was good. So I guess not necessarily food, but a pro was the options. You do have a lot of options versus just one restaurant.
Well, at least options that are easy to get into. Where Ohana was is a struggle for a lot of people to get into.
I would say for sure. And then my last pro was just the vibe in general. You feel so secluded from Disney, very much on a tropical vacation island. And I would say that. And my last one is going to be the pools.
Oh, the pool.
Probably the best pools that we've had at a deluxe experience. Like,
oh my God.
I loved the pools. The quiet pool was beautiful, and the regular pool, which was just so fun. And just I love the view looking out at Magic Kingdom in the Grand
Lather
Floridian.
me in SPF 100 plus to stay there forever.
Yeah, to stay there forever. Yeah.
So good.
Did you have any other pros besides transportation?
For me, it was the pool, but you already beat me to it, so that's fine.
Okay,
cons. And then con is in 1, 2, 3,
Ohana. I am
awful.
Not an Ohana girl.
No. Never again.
Yeah.
Nope. Maybe a breakfast in like 10 years, but not tomorrow.
No. I did not like Ohana, honestly, at all. Like, I just did not enjoy it. And
Everything was dry, lacked flavor. The only thing I liked about it was the ukulele player dude.
Loved him.
He was great.
He was making the vibes,
he
like,
was great.
super high.
Loved him.
The one thing I will say is this is where I don't want to sit here and say Ohana was good. It definitely was not good.
Definitely was not good.
However, I also look at pricing when we're thinking of
not
these restaurants.
Worth the tag.
And like, it's $62 for dinner at Ohana. You can get a plate at Topolino's for $50 or $55.
Yeah, just your one main entree.
Or Flying
totally
Fish for $45 or $48. And those are like fine signature dinings.
Yep.
There's nothing about Ohana that makes it better. There's other all-you-can-eat restaurants at Disney that are eons better. Like, I love Woody's Roundup Rodeo. I think Garden Grill, people might think that we're crazy, but Garden Grill is the hidden gem. And like, those are Garden Grill is the same as Ohana, and I would eat at Garden Grill.
I would choose Garden Grill every time.
Next is, what was your favorite thing about staying at the Poly, or just the best thing in general at the Poly? If you had to pick one favorite thing, what was your favorite thing?
Trader Sam's. It's such a fun, unique experience.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of funny, and not to use, I mean, this is the only term I can think of, but it's like, it's kind of like a privilege to have been able to go, because it only holds so many people. It's very hard to get into. It just worked out the way that we were able to put our name in. We had the time to wait, and they're like, okay, come on in.
Yeah.
So fun, great drinks, wonderful atmosphere. I love the interaction with the specialty drinks. Really, really fun time. Yeah.
I would say my favorite thing about staying at the Polynesian was truly the all-encompassing way that I felt at the Polynesian.
Without a doubt.
Outside of something tangible, like, I think that one kind of just goes without saying, but my favorite thing was the idea of like tranquility and relaxation and how quiet it was, and that to me was just my favorite thing about staying there. If I had to put like a tangible thing to it though, like something that is, I would say, I'm trying to think because there's really so many things I loved. I would say the transportation.
Yeah.
I would say the monorail and the boat
great.
from the resort, not the ferry necessarily, because I just loved having multiple modes of transportation, and I actually really loved being on a monorail resort. That was our first time being on a monorail resort, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Next is, what was something at the Polynesian that stood out to you from other resorts?
The main thing was, even though it's in the middle of everything, but the feeling of seclusion. But then also, Brianna and I were talking, and how quiet it was. I don't know if it was just our respective section or whatever, but like, we were like, it's quiet here. This is nice. It was super relaxing, and that blew me out of the water. Yeah, I would say something that stood out about the Polynesian as well was that feeling of seclusion. I found it very similar to a seclusion like when we stayed at Wilderness Lodge. And Wilderness Lodge, you feel way more secluded because there's no palm trees and there's only boat and one, buses. Northwest US. Right, like Northwestern kind of style. However, the Polynesian is a much larger resort. And it is so, in my opinion, from where we were staying, because we were staying in the farthest DVC room, so quiet and so peaceful. We would come back sometimes just to sit on the deck with like a pudding cup and a juice box and like sit. Do you know what I mean though? It felt so beautiful, and it really truly felt like a vacation versus a Disney vacation. It was a vacation where we went to Disney, not a Disney vacation, and I think that was something that we haven't really felt in a while. The next question was, any tips or must-dos for the Polynesian? I will let you start, because we also have Corey's and our answers like on the iPad so that we came very prepared. Because I need to be prepared, where Brianna just has I can like off the cuff, but Corey can't. God, no. So, you start. Tips or must-dos? Start with, do you have any, let's start with tips first. I have the tips. I'm awful with the tips. Yeah, I have the must-dos. I don't have tips. You don't have the tips. I would say one of my biggest tips for staying at the Polynesian is, if you are going to Epcot, or if you are going to Magic Kingdom and you are trying to get there in a timely fashion,
go to the TTC.
Without doubt.
You have to go all the way around to get to the TTC anyway, so it doesn't make sense if you're going to Epcot to get on the resort monorail, to go all the way around, to get off at the TTC, to then get back through the security line, and then back onto the monorail. So my biggest tip is, if you're going to Epcot on any day, walk to the TTC. And if you are trying to rope drop Magic Kingdom and go super early, I would also recommend going like from the TTC. My other tip that I would say for the Polynesian is spend, and this is not a tip, but a suggestion, like spend a day or an accumulative of like 5 or 6 hours there if you're staying there.
Yeah.
I think so many times, you know, we'll get into it later on in the questionnaire, but people say, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? If you're going to enjoy your resort, like if you're going to stay at the Polynesian, a tip that we have is go to the pool early and spend an afternoon there, and then go to the parks at night. Take the boat just to Magic Kingdom in a monorail loop, come back. You know what I mean? Like enjoy your actual resort.
Absolutely.
As an entirety.
Without a doubt.
So any must-dos?
Trader Sam's.
100% do Trader Sam's if you can make it work.
If you have that rest day, do it.
Or in general.
No, but I'm just saying. No, but like in general, but like I'm assuming everyone wants to be in the park. So I'm just answering for the people like, hey, if you're planning on doing a rest day, or maybe if you're just doing a park morning and then you're doing a rest afternoon.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Do it. It's so much fun. And then number 2 was, I am a big boat person, so taking the boat to Magic Kingdom I thought was very fun. Everyone's always like, oh, the monorail, do the monorail.
The boat.
Do the boat.
In the morning, the boat
At least once, just do the boat. It's very relaxing. And then, obviously, you're directly adjacent to the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Watch the fireworks for for Happily Ever After, excuse me, from the beach. Super duper fun, really relaxing. And then also, you don't have to wait too long for like camping out if you want one of the little chairs on the beach, because I feel so it's like if you're there like 20 minutes beforehand, you get the chair, so go ahead and hang out.
Absolutely. I'm gonna agree with all of Corey's must-dos. I want to echo watching the fireworks from the Polynesian beach at least once if you're staying there, because I think it really does make it just that much more magical that they play the music and it's so fun. But my other must-do, or like something that I would recommend to do, is get a Dole Whip and sit on the beach in one of the chairs, or bring a little beach towel and just like sit on the beach and relax, because it's not beach where you're gonna like lay there in your bathing suit, but it's nice to like sit and relax on the beach. Right. So I'd recommend that. Heard the Poly is very crowded with resort hoppers. Did you feel this to be true? I did not feel this to be true.
We did not feel this to be true, but we also have to take the time that we went with a grain of salt, and there's like an asterisk because we went during, what was it, Orange County?
Yeah, we went during Orlando's spring break.
Those people, the residents who hold like those like lower tier passes that are residents of Florida, can't get into the park. So I feel as we went at a very dead time. Yeah. So I never felt that way because of it. Now granted, if we were a week before or a week after, I may be saying something different. Yeah. But because of when we went, it was not chaotic at all.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, the Polynesian, if you think of the monorail resorts, like the Polynesian is the it resort. You're not like hanging out at the Contemporary is like not like, you don't go to the Contemporary for like the vibes of the Contemporary. You're going there for, you know, California Grill or a Chef Mickey's just to see the monorail, but like not to hang. You know what I mean? There's nothing to do there. In addition, the Grand Floridian is really also
country club.
Yeah, but not even that it's that, but there's not really a larger beach, and the vibe is just not as fun. The Polynesian is a fun,
laid back, hang 10.
Yeah, it's just a fun, enjoyable, a fun, enjoyable vibe. So I understand that it can get crowded with, you know, resort hoppers and whatnot. However, don't forget, they all have to go back to their resort.
Without doubt.
So like, even when there's dining late night at Ohana or getting a Dole Whip, they have to still get back to their hotel in some capacity. So I think that the other reason why we didn't feel it is, again, we stayed in the DVC section, which is much further away. However, to be honest with you, I think at any given time, we've been at all different kinds of resorts at all different times of year, and I have never once stayed at a Disney resort and felt, oh my god, the resort is so crowded. Right. Even at Pop and Value, like I have literally never felt that way. Next question was preference, boat or monorail to Magic Kingdom, and Corey.
It's both, but here's the preference. To Magic Kingdom, take the boat.
I would recommend the boat in the morning. That's my preference.
Because it's just so nice and the air's a little crisp and the sun's coming up. It's very nice. Take the monorail after, because there's like 4 monorails running between the resorts, and so there's always going to be one. Even if you miss it, it's like wait 5 minutes and you're going to get on. There's no big deal. And then that's the more convenient way, especially after a longer park day.
Yeah,
that you could be like, okay, get me home as quick as possible.
And I think that if we walked down to the area between the boat and the monorail leaving Magic Kingdom, and we saw a boat and didn't see a monorail, like we would just take the boat. However, I think being able to do both, I really do love them 50-50. Yeah. I love the monorail during the day because it just is like a fun thing.
Absolutely.
But the morning and like the sun coming over the water in one of our vlogs was just so beautiful, and I loved taking the boat in the morning.
Yeah.
Like I just thought it was really nice. Next is, did you like your breakfast at Kona Cafe? I loved it, actually.
I thought it was great. I'm a big breakfast fan. I got the Polynesian egg platter, which is basically
like a basic breakfast.
A smorgasbord of just your basic breakfast. It takes a lot to mess up a breakfast, and if you do that, you should be ashamed of yourself. So it was great.
I ended up getting the Tonga toast. Loved it. Wish it had more filling. I found it to be very doughy and bready.
It was very doughy.
I wish that there was like more fruit, or if I could have gotten
specifically
fruit
for
on the
you
side.
too. You're not a doughier person.
No, I would have preferred more fruit. However, we would love to go back because I want to try the macadamia nut pancakes. Ooh. Someone got it that was sitting next to us, and it looked so good. So I enjoyed Kona Cafe. We've been for lunch. Hated it. Went for breakfast. Loved it. Next is best plan for rope dropping the parks from the Poly. So we didn't really rope drop too much because we were really, like I said, we were really relaxing and enjoying everything that the Polynesian had to offer, and sleeping in and walking the resort and whatnot. So we didn't really rope drop as much as we normally do on vacation.
However,
I think once. However, I do have some tips for you when you're trying to rope drop, and be strategic on your rope drop. First, for Magic Kingdom, take the monorail from the TTC, and I would recommend going an hour to an hour and 30 minutes early. Let's say the park opens for early park guests at 8:30. I'd recommend being at the TTC for like 7:30. It'll take you the half hour to get through. It'll be 8 o'clock. You'll be able to take your photos on Main Street and then get ready to rope drop. I would also say the same thing for Epcot. Just walk right to the TTC. You'll get on. It'll be so simple, so easy. For Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom, just be at the bus an hour early. Next question was, is it even necessary to go to a water park while staying at the Polynesian? I'll let you take this one, but we do have the same answer.
Is it necessary? No. Do you still miss it if you don't go? Yes. Yeah. Of course. But the pools are just so great.
Yeah.
And just such a fun experience, especially for the main pool. It's just a fun time, and it was great. And especially for us on this trip that we wanted to enjoy the resort and we wanted to enjoy the pools, we made that a priority.
Yeah.
I still missed not going to a water park.
For sure.
And wanted to go to Typhoon Lagoon. My
thing with that is, I believe that if you're a water park person and want water park thrill rides and to be like swimming and at the water park all day, then no matter what hotel you stay at, you should go to the water park. Correct. Because it's just a fun day. I think we missed it because we didn't get to go, but I was in no way, shape, or form upset. Like, I enjoyed spending a little bit more time in the parks at the hotel versus being at the water park. Right. Next is, how did you like staying at a monorail resort? I loved it.
It's super easy and convenient.
So convenient. It was so convenient. It was so nice. The other thing that I loved is I found that it gave us, and I would say maybe it's kind of similar to a Skyliner resort, where the idea, well, actually I think it might be even better than a Skyliner resort, because you have the monorail to, like, this is what I'm trying to get at, but I'm fumbling over my words. It's not better than a Skyliner resort. I think that the transportation, though, it makes more sense because you have transportation direct to Magic Kingdom in two ways, and you can go to Epcot via the monorail. Yeah. And then from there, if you're going to Epcot, you can take the Skyliner over, whereas I'm saying a Skyliner resort is only the Skyliner, and it's for Epcot and Hollywood Studios. You have to park hop to Magic Kingdom via the monorail, but then you can't get back. So I loved it. I do not think, we'll get into that question later on. We won't bring it up right now. But I do think that it was so easy and convenient, and I did love staying at a monorail resort, and it would make me want to go back again, staying at a monorail resort for sure.
Absolutely.
What was your experience getting into Trader Sam's? It was easy.
It was really easy. You walk up, you put your name in, they say, hey, this is how long the wait is. Ours was like a 2-hour wait, something like that.
Yeah.
You give your phone number, they text you when your time is ready. But ours was at an hour and a half, so it was actually earlier than what they allotted for us.
And it's only 50, I want to say it's only like 52 people capacity. Yeah. It's very small. So like, even if you're going in there for a 30-minute drink or a 40-minute drink, room. Like you're not standing.
You're
it's
in
all,
a chair.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of room, but I definitely would recommend it if you can swing it, and if you can't, you know, that's okay. But I did enjoy it. I thought it was a really fun experience.
I liked about Trader Sam's too. It causes you to interact with people because we shared a table with.
So the next question was, where does Polynesian rank on your list of places to stay? Riviera or Poly? I think we're both still Riviera #1. Yeah, Riviera #1, Polynesian #2. They very much are like 1A, 1B.
1A, 1B.
One, I love them both identical. The reason why I give the Riviera a little bit of a nod and an edge is I love that it's a little bit smaller. I love the Mediterranean vibes. And I love that it's on the Skyliner.
See, I'm a Skyliner person. That's why it gets the nod for me.
But really, it is a 1A, 1B. Like, if someone said flip a coin for your next trip, it wouldn't matter to me what side it landed on, because I love them both. Next is, do you think it's worth staying at a deluxe resort? I'm gonna start this one, and then you can take it over from there.
You want the responsible answer or the irresponsible answer?
No, I think we get this question a lot of like, do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's worth it? For Corey and I, we always, for the most part, think that it's worth it. However, that is because we go back in the middle of the day for an afternoon break, or we go to the parks.
We'll be back for 4 hours. Yeah, we're staying there,
or we go to the parks from, you know, 11 to 8 o'clock and we spend all morning there. Or we go to the parks from rope drop to 4 and then we stay at the hotel the remainder of the day. Or we even come back for just 2.5 hours in the afternoon. And for me, spending the money to actually be able to relax at my hotel is more important for us. Now, don't get us wrong. There are trips that we have gone on that are more in and out of the parks. Like, we're just going for the parks, then stay value. But if you are going to enjoy your hotel, then I would always say it's worth it. But again, it's up to you and your own finances and what you think is worth it. We like deluxe. So the next one is kind of similar, but do you think the Polynesian is worth the extra cost, or is the Polynesian Resort worth it itself? I think yes.
If you truly want to go and it's your bucket list item, yes.
Yeah, I would go. I think it's worth it. I think you don't need to go for 7 or 8 nights like we did and make it your full trip.
Do a split stay.
You know, make it 1 or 2 nights on your trip or what have you. But I think it's worth it. And I do think that it was worth the price tag if you could potentially catch a good deal with it. And then the next is, will you be going back to the Poly? At some point, yes. It's not on our top list of resorts because we like to try new resorts once we're done. We like to try some new ones, but we would definitely go back.
Without a doubt.
Like, I loved it. All right, next let's get into our trip-specific questions. So the first one was there anything that disappointed you on this trip?
3, 2, 1. Ohana.
Must I say more?
Because you know what was frustrating about like just our experience is that is a restaurant that is so hard to get into.
Oh my god, it was the only reservation for the whole week.
That Brianna only wanted, she was like, I really want to do Ohana. We really wanted to do it. We couldn't get a reservation to start with when what was it, 45 days, 60 days, whenever you get the reservation?
No, I got the reservation at 60 days, but there was no other way for me to move it around throughout the week. And we missed deluxe evening hours in Magic Kingdom because we wanted to prioritize it because everybody raves about Ohana. And it just was not good. So we prioritized
it, and let me tell you, I'd rather have deluxe evening hours.
Yeah, it was just not good. So was there something that you were surprised about on this trip?
How good of a quick service Captain Cook's is. So good. Yeah. I had 2 items from there. Everyone's going to be like, only 2? So how can you say it's all good? It's because these 2 just knocked it out of the park. So good. I had their pulled pork sandwich when we got there, which was absolutely outstanding. Yeah. And then I had the spicy Korean chicken bowl.
You had that twice. Next question is, what is something you normally don't do that you did on this trip?
Oh, this is a me answer?
Well, you can go ahead and start.
We sleep in.
Yeah.
We slept in. This was the most well-rested I've felt on a Disney trip in my entire life.
Literally ever.
It was great.
We were just enjoying sleeping in and, again, enjoying the morning at the resort versus jumping up and getting in for rope dropping versus, you know, relaxing in the resort. And I loved it. I found it actually very nice because I think sometimes we rope drop with the anticipation of like, we gotta get everything done, but I think we went with a little bit more of a go with the flow pace, and I think that was something that we loved. For me, what is something that we normally don't do that we did on this trip was just way more go with the flow.
Yeah.
Way more like, what do you feel like doing? What do you feel like eating? We didn't have as many dining reservations, and I loved that we did not have as many dining reservations and we were just a little bit more go with the flow.
Right.
And I found it just to be very relaxing and very enjoyable.
And you know what was nice is like, because we always have our non-negotiable rides. But in this trip, it wasn't like, okay, we're in the park, we have to ride that ride every single time we're in the park. It was like, as long as we got it done once, we're like, okay.
I was good.
We're good.
Next is, what's one new thing you both did this trip that you will now be doing on every trip? Pin trading.
Pin trading. Oh, pin trading.
Pin trading. That was the saying of the trip. Normally, every time Corey and I have a saying on every trip, this one was pin trading.
But you had to like shout it.
Yeah, you had to shout it. So I really loved pin trading. I think we went a little bit chaotic on the first one just because it was fun to like dive in, but now I feel like we have enough pins to retrade for like at least a year and a half to 2 years. Yeah, we have so many, and I don't think that we would do as much drastic pin trading. Now we kind of have our little collections. We feel good about what we're doing. However, it was such a nice thing to do in between rides or when you were just wandering around. And catching a good pin was like the hunt. It was so fun.
It added a good little element to the day, which was fun.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was our first time ever riding Astro Orbiter. We've been missing out, people.
Corey's like, I'm going to ride it every time we go to Disney.
Even though at the end it felt like the rocket was about to detach, but
very, very jarring.
Fun.
Very scary.
Fun, fun, fun.
Any new favorites since this trip? Either food, ride, experience, or show, etc.
Yes, and this happened to be a surprise from Brianna because she's just so thoughtful.
I'm
loves
so thoughtful.
Me so much. Oga's Cantina we got in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Batuu. Oh my god, what an experience.
Yeah.
Just
so
from
fun.
The theming to the drinks. Also, even though it's a bar, but it has your fun non-alcoholic beverages
for
as well.
For your mocktail
girlies or your kiddos if you want to bring them in for a fun experience as well.
Yeah.
Really great time. I think that's going to have to be an every time occurrence if that's not too much to ask.
I loved it. It was very easy to get a reservation because you're also just kind of going in and grabbing a drink. And again, there's mocktails, cocktails. The other thing I loved about that was that of course it's going to be kid friendly because you can bring your kids in there because who doesn't want to see Oga's? So I love that it was more kid friendly. My new favorite from this trip was just the Walt Disney World Railroad.
Oh,
we've ridden it before and whatnot, but there's just something about the joy of like a full Magic Kingdom day and just taking a break and getting a cold water and riding around on the I almost said the monorail on the railroad, and I just like I love it, and it was just became a new favorite. So how were the crowds this time of year, March/spring break? I think that we caught the perfect week for the calendar year. Yep. So this was Orlando's spring break week, which meant either a lot of people were going on their own vacations, or if you're a Walt Disney World annual pass holder and you have the bottom I think maybe three passes. Certain dates are blocked out, so there was not as many people in the park. It was also the week before Easter, so Easter fell really early this year. So I think that if you're gonna go in March, if you can catch a really good week, we've gone in March now the last few years and have loved it. I will say though, when you go in April around New England spring break and Easter, it's always going to be busy. New England spring break and Easter is always chaotic. Like, it's always gonna be a very, very busy season. Next was, what was your favorite non-ride thing that you did in each park?
Watching Happily Ever After, but very close to the castle. So you really got to see the projections onto it. Because that's really the show at the end of the day. I mean, not so much the fireworks, but like, we still got the fireworks, but like, we really wanted to see the projections. It was really cool.
I would agree. That was by far my favorite non-ride thing in Magic Kingdom. Next was Epcot. Cadieps. What was your favorite? It's written down here.
Oh, yes. The French Bakery in France. What a hidden gem. We've never gotten anything from them. But if you want to talk a good snack option, go there and get the baguette.
My favorite thing in Epcot was when we got the street corn, because I was so disappointed that my Animal Kingdom corn just got completely trashed, that the elote in Epcot was incredible.
In the Mexico Pavilion.
Next was Hollywood Studios.
Oga's Cantina, baby.
Agreed. Oga's Cantina was the best thing that we did on this trip. It was so, so fun. And then Animal Kingdom was
the Nomad Lounge.
Love Nomad Lounge.
Love Nomad Lounge. Great sit, great sip.
I like sitting on the water. We've been to Nomad Lounge previously, but when you get to sit on the water at Nomad Lounge, I think it just makes it 100 times better. Next was our top 3 favorite overall moments from the trip. You can go first because yours are written.
My top one was, Brianna and I love a good laugh. We love a good laugh together, but we have never laughed together like this before. And that is when Brianna drove on the Tomorrowland Speedway, and let me tell you, what a ride of a time.
So fun.
That is a core memory that will be etched in my brain forever.
Forever. Yeah.
Even my friend Lewis, when he watched the YouTube video, he was just like, the pure joy you and Brianna had in that moment.
I was just laughing so hard.
It was great. Trader Sam's, number 2. I mean, you can't beat it. It was so fun. Definitely worth the time. And then, not to beat a dead horse here, but Oga's Cantina. Loved it. Loved every second of it. It was so fun.
So good. My top 3 favorite moments of the trip overall were watching the Magic Kingdom fireworks close to the castle to see the projections. I loved that. My second one was just staying at the Polynesian. The vibes of the Polynesian, being at the Polynesian, that was a big hit. And then I would say my third favorite was overall, honestly, maybe Oga's too.
Yeah.
It was just fun to be in there, and I feel sometimes as someone that really doesn't drink alcohol, the idea of getting a fun mocktail and being in that environment was fun. I didn't feel like I had to drink, not that I do really anyway, but I loved it. I loved Oga's. I thought it was great. All right, so now we are getting into food questions. The first one was your favorite new food item that you tried on this trip. And yours was?
Why am I always going first? It was the drink. Usually, I thought we were flip-flopping.
All right,
I feel so I'm just going first a bunch.
All right. Mine was the street corn in Epcot. That was
Thank God you found that.
That was my favorite.
Thank God you found that.
It was delicious. It was so good.
And then mine is the German pretzel from Baseline Tap House in Hollywood Studios.
I love getting a charcuterie from there. Favorite place that we ate on this trip?
Oddly enough, for me, it was Captain Cook's.
Mine was Summer House on the Lake. I prefer Summer House on the Lake. I don't even know why you would say Captain Cook's over Summer House on the Lake.
You know what? Because we kept on going back to Captain Cook's.
Okay.
There's the thing.
Well, that's true. So, favorite snack on the trip?
The baguette from the French bakery. Come on now.
That was really good.
Bake me in that.
Oh my gosh, you know what I just forgot that you didn't put on your list? Did you not like the brioche bun with the ice cream in it?
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that.
We probably should have rewatched all the vlogs.
So I actually was trying to figure out what I ate by going through the vlogs, but I guess I must have skipped over that section.
Because that was a new favorite snack. That was so good. I would say probably the macaron from France with the raspberry and the lime. Just very good, and it was just different for me as someone that's not always a sweet person. I very much enjoyed that. And then what was our favorite quick service meal and our favorite table service meal?
A meal as itself, it is probably the spicy Korean chicken from Captain Cook's for quick service.
Yeah.
And then the summer house meal for the sit down. Yeah.
Mine for quick service was Epcot, the Mexican Pavilion in Epcot, La Cantina de San Angel, or it might even just be La Cantina. I don't exactly remember, but that. And then table service would be Summer House on the Lake. It was delicious. So the next one is all about DVC and renting DVC points, how we do it, all of the ins and outs and whatnot. So we always get the question of just like renting DVC points breakdown, who we rent from, how have we rented in the past, and why we rent. So first and foremost is who we rent from, which is we either rent from DVC Rental Store, the website. That's just where we've rented now once.
From the rental site, I think once. From the rental site. And then the other times that we've rented from were from Facebook, from a Facebook page that we are a part of. Who or how we've rented in the past, same kind of thing, but we've rented either through a Facebook page and someone where I type on the Facebook page, we're looking for 7 nights at the Polynesian or 7 nights at the Boardwalk. Like, does anyone have any availability? Can anyone get this reservation for me? Or we always go through the confirmed reservations on the DVC Rental Store. We have never, and I have never looked for like submitting what I'm looking for and then gotten it back, because we just always go through the confirmed reservations. Like, I just don't do it that way. And then why we choose to rent, because it saves us a lot of money and we can go to deluxe resort. So next is, did you rent DVC points for your stay at the Polynesian? If so, how? Yes, we did rent DVC points for our stay at the Poly, and we actually did that through Facebook because we were going to rent through the DVC Rental Store, and then the minute we went to go and book the confirmed reservation, it must have gotten taken from someone else. So I was like, well, I gotta look to Facebook now, because we were so set on going that it completely got lost. So that's what we did there. Do you enjoy the process of renting DVC points? I love the process.
Yeah, Corey loves the process because he does nothing. But I I actually do. I don't mind the process. I would say if you're not someone that wants to, I don't want to say gamble with Facebook, you can do it through a website. David's Vacation Rentals is another one. The DVC rental store we've used and really enjoyed. So I enjoy the process. I find it to be very simple, especially if it's a confirm reservation. You just click as if you were on Disney's website. Like, it's very easy. And then the last question, which we constantly get when we come back from a Disney trip, but did you look into DVC? And if not, would you look into DVC in the future? And it's not a no, but it's a not right now.
Yeah.
We have looked into DVC already. We've sat down with someone, we've done all the numbers, we've crunched it all, and right now at the stage of our life, we just bought a brand new car, we want to move out and like buy a house, we're paying for our wedding, we have our mini moon, our honeymoon, more trips, and just we're traveling right now that we don't want to feel necessarily tied down to something at this time. I would never say never, but I would say not right now.
Not right now.
I do think it's great though. To me, there's nothing really wrong with DVC. For us in our time of life right now, it's really difficult for us to book 7 to 11 months in advance. We plan trips within like 3 months turnaround because
if it's more than 6 months, there's a concern there.
Well, in addition, what I do for work, especially, like I am constantly traveling and can be offered the opportunity to travel within only just a few months time. So the idea of having a trip booked and then having to move it and mess with the DVC points just like wouldn't work for our lifestyle right now. The camera battery just died, so if we're at like a slightly new angle, that would be why.
We went from here?
We're just to here. Yeah, we're just little chatty Cathys. All right. Next is some Genie Plus questions. We get a lot of Genie questions because you know that we're big Genie people. We love to skip the line. I don't want to wait in any lines. So the first one was, can you talk about Standby Skipper? What is it and is it worth it? So what is Standby Skipper? It is basically a third-party app / service where you submit what you're looking for and what you want to ride through Genie Plus, and through the app, this third-party service will basically book your lightning lanes for you. So for example, you wake up in the morning, let's say you're going to Magic Kingdom for the day, you don't care when you ride these 10 rides, you just want to ride them, you put them into the third-party app, you click that you want to ride them at the earliest convenience, and basically the app will do all of your booking for you. And do I think it's worth it? Yes, I think it is the best thing that could have ever been invented. We will never have Genie Plus without using Standby Skipper ever again.
Yep.
I just will absolutely not do it. I don't want to be on my phone. It keeps me removed from my phone, and it's just so relaxing. It's one less thing to worry about in the parks.
Even though I'm never on my phone, it keeps me away from my phone. It keeps Brianna away from her phone, so she's not stressed and needed to be on her phone.
Yeah.
It just enhances the experience.
It's so nice to just not honestly have to worry about it. Next is, how do you stack Genie Plus and how to stack lightning lanes when you're park hopping? So the way that I try to stack lightning lanes, if I can, is let's say it's 11 o'clock in Magic Kingdom and we're planning to park hop to Epcot at night, and there's a 6:30 or 7 o'clock Remy Ratatouille adventure at that time. We may not be in the park yet, but I'm gonna book that lightning lane because it's gonna be way harder to get. So every kind of 2 hours or so, you can go into the app, and I would recommend just like being on top of it. The other way that we stack lightning lanes when we park hop is when we're using Standby Skipper, because it'll do the stacking for me. So I think it's sometimes a little bit tricky, but it is possible. You just have to be on your phone if you don't want to use Standby Skipper, but that's why we use it, because I don't want to be on my phone all the time and like drain my battery. All right, so now we are on to the final like miscellaneous questions that kind of go along with this trip a little bit, so we're gonna get into it. Updated resort ranking. Did the Polynesian outweigh the Riviera? No, not for me.
Nope, not
the
for me.
Riviera is still #1 for me. It holds my heart. I really don't know if there's another resort that would ever take it. I
Unless they
it.
build some new one that's
maybe the
cool
Polynesian Tower, but again, I don't even know because I absolutely love the Riviera. Next was, do you have a preference from being on a monorail resort versus a Skyliner resort?
Skyliner, always.
100%.
That has my heart. I love the Skyliner transportation. I love the intercom, and then that lady talking to me. I prefer the Skyliner.
I like the Skyliner more because I like that it is always going. It's non-stop. And you can just kind of jump on and jump off. You're not waiting for a boat. You're not waiting for a monorail. And I also enjoy the fact that you can go and explore a lot while you're on the monorail. I kind of call the monorail like its own little neighborhood. Like Art of Animation, Pop Century, Caribbean Beach, Riviera, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, the Boardwalk, Beach Club, Yacht Club. There's so much that you can kind of explore within that little neighborhood that I'm a Skyliner girly. And I just like that you can be in the Sky Gondola, like, alone.
Yeah.
Just absolutely. The two of us, and we get to chit-chat, and, you know, the cool breeze comes through. I don't know, I really like it. I like the Skyliner Mo. Next is, what cameras do we use in the parks to vlog? So, we use 3. The first one is the one I'm recording on right now, which is the Canon G7X Mark II. That's my, like, vlog camera. The next camera that we use is the GoPro, which is the Hero 10. Yep. I think it is. It's got the one with the camera in the front. And then just our iPhones.
iPhones.
Yeah, you had some iPhone segments.
Yes, when you got the one-on-one time with Corey. That was all an iPhone.
Next was our go-to park shoes.
We have the same one in terms of Adidas Ultra Boost.
That is my number one park shoe, is the Adidas Ultra Boost.
Then for 100%. Me, my second one is the On Clouds Roger Federer Edition tennis shoe.
Yeah, you found those to be comfortable. This was your first trip with them, right?
This is my first trip with them. This is truly, like, I mean, like, I wear them, but this is my first time, like, walking in them, if that makes sense. And my feet did not
walking
hurt.
In them, if that makes sense. Yeah, well, obviously
but like us going to the grocery store and us doing Disney are two completely different types
of walking. For sure. For sure. I could agree with that. And then my favorite shoe that I wore, this was my first time wearing it at Disney, walking in Disney on this shoe, and it was my New Balance, either they're the 330s or the 550s. I don't know. Corey calls them my grandpa shoe.
The grandpa shoe.
So that is the shoe, and I actually found them to be very comfortable. My feet were very breathable, and I very much enjoyed them. So those were a great shoe. So the next question is, how do you book your trips? Do you use a specific travel agency or go through Disney? We book our trips.
Brianna's my travel agent.
Yeah, I'm Corey's basically personal travel agent, and I'm not against using a travel agent in any way. I think that they're amazing. I think they're incredible. I just enjoy the idea of the planning and the going through the website and breaking down all the money and the finances and being the one that's in the control of it, because I like it. It's not an overwhelming process to me. I think maybe if we ever went somewhere, you know, Disneyland, or did something like in Europe with Disney that we really were confused on or didn't have that much knowledge on, I would maybe book with a travel agent, because it doesn't cost you any additional money, but we book our own. Next question was, how did you feel about pin trading?
I was skeptical at first, because Brianna would like to just always go to the pin boards and just look in recent trips, and I would always go to the boards and I'm like, I don't like any of these pins. Like, they don't even look nice to me. But I guess I never really appreciated it because I wasn't looking for anything. I was just looking to see if one stood out to me, and I never had that experience. But now that we do pin trade and I've picked 2 themes of Toy Story and Star Wars, I'm now just like, whoo, where are those? Where are those? And so it's a lot more fun, and I do enjoy it a lot. Yeah, I really love to pin trade now because I think it's just another additional little fun thing to do in the parks. But to your point, I think the idea of a lot of the boards don't necessarily have the nicest pins on them. I think there's still a lot of fake pins that are sitting on the boards, but I enjoyed it, and I think it's a really fun extra thing to do in the parks, and you get to kind of have something while you're leisurely walking around. It's like another thing to do. So the next question was, thinking about getting an annual pass in the near future, do you think that the annual pass is worth the price? If you plan on going a certain amount, then absolutely. Yes. We've done the math. If you are planning to go to Disney and you buy a park hopper pass, specifically, we like to have a park hopper pass now that we've had them. If you are going to go to Disney at least 6 times, your 7th trip is like paid for in theory, right? And so at that point, it automatically in our mind makes it worth it, because then you get the discounts on hotels and food and merch, and you're already saving money, hundreds of dollars, because you already know you're going to buy stuff. You already are going to buy food, so you already know that there's discounts associated. I think that getting in the annual pass is worth it. If you're planning to go more than 6 to 7 times in a year, then I think that it's going to pay for itself, because you're going to have to pay for the tickets that are that price anyway. So I definitely do think that it's worth it. Absolutely. All right, so the last 2 questions, we saved the best for last. So if you're still here, comment down below with the little sparkle emoji down below, or sparkle. So the first question is, will you be renewing your Walt Disney World annual passes? And the answer is... Yes, we will be renewing our Walt Disney World annual passes, because basically the way that our life is going to fall and things that have kind of come into fruition and in the works just makes, I know that that's very vague, but make a long story short, yes, we are renewing our annual passes. It makes the most sense for us from now until May to 2025 to have the annual pass again, because of the things that are coming up that just make the most sense for us to have the annual pass. So
we are in fact renewing our annual pass. And then the best question that everybody asks at the end of every trip, which is, when is your next trip to Walt Disney World? 2 weeks.
Woo!
So we are headed back to Disney in 2 weeks, which I know people are probably like, 2 weeks? You said you weren't going back in your vlogs and you were. Yeah, we know we said we weren't going back, but we were waiting to say that we were going on this trip until we came back from the first one, and we are going on a friend trip with Carter and Matt. We are so excited. We have not seen them in a really long time, and I just can't wait to hug them and spend a whole long weekend with them. So we are headed out in May to be with them and spend a friend weekend together, and I am so excited.
I can't wait to wear my matching Epcot shirt with Matt.
With Matt. That's gonna be so fun. We also are not sure if we're gonna vlog yet. I'm not gonna do a pack and prep with me because when I come home from my bachelorette, I only have 1 or 2 days before we leave for Orlando, and it's just not gonna work. So if I do anything, I will do like a long Walt Disney World weekend vlog, maybe. Yeah. But even then, I'm not sure because we've never been to Walt Disney World without vlogging, and I kind of want to treat this like a real vacation before we get into the hustle and bustle of friends' weddings, our weddings, bridal showers, bachelor party for him, all these like things that are coming up for the wedding. That's the Disney Q&A.
I had a blast doing it.
And that also means that this is the final Disney series video for the March 2024 series, because we're all done. Well, with that being said, we love you guys. Thank you so much for all the unbelievable love on our last series. It was insurmountable, the amount of just love and comments and likes and new faces and subscribers and everything around here. It was just the utmost blast.
Absolutely.
Like, all of your comments make our days so much better. So thank you all so much for being here, and we will be at Disney in 2 weeks. So if you see us in the parks, make sure to say hey. But with that being said, we love you guys so much, and we will see you in the next one.
Toodles.
It's a brand new day.